to episode number 31 of Fight Briefing, starting off with a donation.
Evening, Jesse.
Evening.
Hope all is well. I'm really excited to hear these predictions and breakdowns, as well as from others in this chat space. Was just wondering if you wouldn't mind checking your Discord DMs when you have a chance?
No.
Thanks.
I appreciate the donation, but no. And I am not starting off my show talking about DMs. They will not be opened. I have permanently closed them for a long time, and I will not be checking any of your messages for quite some time. Anyways, welcome to another episode of Fight Briefing, episode number 31, where we will be talking about UFC 253 coming up this weekend. Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa, which is going to be really fun to watch, where you get your fan picks from me. Hi.
Wonderful,
Hope everyone's wonderful. Look at all these lovely people in the chat. Whew! Crazy. All right, guys, let's get started. I'm going to zip right through them tonight. Oh, man. Who's excited for Saturday night? Let me know in the chat. Drop the ones. Are you excited for the main card? Actually, the whole card. The whole UFC 253 card. Early prelims, and main card. First fight of the main card, Hakeem Dawodu versus Zubaira Tukhugov. Then we got Ketlen Vieira versus Sijara Eubanks. Eubanks coming in on short notice as a replacement fighter here. I like it a lot. Kaikar France versus Brandon Royval. And then we've got, co-main event Dominic Reyes versus Blachowicz. And our main event, Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa.
Wonderful.
All right, guys. I see some ones in the chat. People excited for the card on Saturday night. So let me just get right into it. I'm gonna pow like that. Oh, look at that! Look at those two beautiful faces right there. But that's not who we're starting with. We're actually gonna start with the first fight of the main card. UFC 253. It rhymes. It sounds good rolling off the tongue. Whew! I can't wait. Hakeem Dawodu versus Zubaira Tukhugov is the first fight of the main card. This fight is really exciting to me for a lot of different reasons. Now, Tukhugov is a Dagestani fighter, and you guys already know how I am towards Dagestani fighters. I have like a liking to them. I get really excited about the ground game involved in their fights. I always usually pick them, most of the time. But that aside, Tukhugov is also pretty good on the feet. And he's got quite a bit of power behind those hands. So I wouldn't expect this to fully stay on the ground. I do expect to see a lot of ground game, though. If they decide to play on the feet a little bit, we know that Dawodu likes to play with his food. So he's probably going to try and pick apart Tukhugov the same way that he has his opponents in the past. He likes, instead of going for those wild finishes, he likes to play a little bit on the feet there, which is totally okay. Still makes for an exciting fight. As much as I really want to see the Dagestani fighter here take the win, I do have a few concerns. His chin has proven to kind of not really be the most solid in his past fights, and I do wonder if maybe he's gonna gas if he plays too much on the feet, but I can't really put that concern in without putting that same concern in if he's on the ground. To be safe, I'm gonna have to go with Dawodu. I'm gonna go decision. I don't think there's gonna be any finishes in this fight, but hey, that's who I got. Let me know who you guys got in the chat. Dawodu versus Tukhugov. Let's see. Flat Earth says Agent Vigo 2 join says, Vigo, do you hang ornaments on your wheelchair during the holidays, bro? Justin says, jump on for post-fight. What's post-fight? What the fuck? What are you talking about? Stop telling Moss what to do. Moss is your king. Fight Briefing is JBH only. That's right, Sasquatch. Justin's just trying to pull his weight around you. No Love Theeden says, Jess, you're so sexy.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Double Champ says, Aiden Oliveras. It says, let's go, baby. UFC 253, man. Exciting stuff. Yes, Hakeem Decision says, Aiden Oliveras. Yeah, I just feel like it's the safer pick, right? But if you pick Tukhugov, I can understand. I mean, the guy is he's fairly well-rounded to a certain extent. It's okay, Justin. I'm just teasing you. You don't have to be sorry. Tuku in a decision says Marker. AM says, Ayo, back off my girl, says Nicole.
Wonderful.
Lil D says, already, Junior? Keep bringing it. The Gozerian says, isn't that the guy who hit Connor from behind? That's a good question, is it? I don't know. All right, guys, let's talk about the next fight coming up here. The second fight of the main card. Ketlen Vieira versus Sijara Eubanks. Kind of match them up there. Now, Eubanks did step in on late notice for this fight. Keep that in mind when you're picking this fight. I don't think it's really going to have that much of an effect on her performance. She did just perform just recently, actually like a couple weeks ago, and she did great. It was supposed to be Marion Renault in this fight, but Eubanks is tremendous on the ground. There's really no question about where she stands against other opponents on the ground. We even saw that in her most recent fight. Now, Vieira is going to sort of give Eubanks a little bit more competition here than we'd expect, given that Vieira is a BJJ black belt, and she's also a black belt in judo. She's gonna be throwing her weight around a lot here. Given that Eubanks hasn't really fared well against bigger opponents in the past, and Vieira is slightly bigger than Eubanks, I'm gonna go with Vieira on this one. I'm gonna say size. I'm gonna say maybe she gets outclassed a little bit on the ground. So I'm gonna go Vieira by submission in the third round. Let me know who you guys have. Ketlen Vieira or Sijara Eubanks. Pow. Ha 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 ha. Roberto says if she avoids a sub in round 1 or 2 wins, or Eubanks wins, but Vieira will catch her in round 1 quickly. Sasquatch says he touched me. Justin Jr., I was scrolling down your community page posts. I would have commented if I saw it earlier. What are we talking about? Classy Nasty says, seems like we're missing a brother. Aiden Oliveira says, Vieira submission round 2. Drunk says, this belt doesn't just hold up my pants. Double Champ says, Eubanks looks like Kevin Lee. Anonymous, Eubanks looks like a mean-ass dog. That's kind of mean. That's not really a nice thing to say, man. Eric says, Eubanks by second round. By second round what? Submission? Finish? KO, TKO? Second round what? Had a very shiny nose, Eubanks, and if you ever saw it, oh, we see some deer in the chat. Moss is Moss wants to see the deer? Well, Moss doesn't want to see the deer. Every time he talks about it, he never wants to see it. Eubanks will be used as a rag doll. Proud Babylonian says, I go Nigerian and Polish Power Lee W. Let's take a moment to picture Moss on the toilet, making his picks right now. Moss, are you on the toilet? Let us know right now. Let us know in the chat. Are you on the toilet? I only want to give main and co-main predictions. Hello, Jesse.
Wonderful.
What's up, and HDDS says he touched me. MMA-Holes helps bring the other side of the fight game to life. Roberto says it's hard to bet against Eubanks second round knockout, says Eric Clark. Drunk says Moss is the deer is sleeping. Two Joints about to kill the deer. All right, guys, let's talk about the next fight of the evening. I like this fight. Kai Kara-France versus Brandon Royval. Now, a little weird that it was put on the main card. I have to be perfectly honest. I expected to see this in like the prelims or something like that, but it is what it is. I'll take it. Both fighters have a tremendous ground game. Let's start with that. I like them both a lot on the ground. Kai Kara-France is extremely well-rounded. Even if he's not on the ground, the guy can fucking throw hands. So, and he pushes a tremendous pace, as we've seen in all of his past fights. Royval can easily put away France on the ground, though, so he's got to be a little bit careful here. Because even though Kara-France's abilities on the ground are superb, I do believe that if he gets caught, even in the wrong position, Royval is probably going to take him out with a submission. Given that Kara-France's previous opponents, though, have lacked the skills to finish him, I really don't see that submission happening too quick here in this fight. I'm going to say as long as he can be careful on the ground against Royval and decides to play on the feet a little bit, I think he stands a chance in this fight. So I'm with Kara-France, but I don't see a finish happening in this fight. I really just see it going a decision. If a finish happens, though, I think that would be probably the most exciting part of this fight. Let me know who you guys have in the chat. Kai Kara-France versus Brandon Royval. La, la, la. AM says, you're such a good reader. Roberto Lopez, Royval is the epitome of slick on the ground. Yeah, they're both great on the ground, to be quite fair. I mean, you don't want to take away from Kara-France. They're both actually really good on the ground, but I agree. I think Royval, if he catches Kara-France in a position that Kara-France maybe isn't too comfortable in, then I can see a submission happening. I honestly don't see a finish happening in this fight, just simply because of the level of skill that they have against each other. This is an indirect message. Drunk says France. No love says Brandon is a dog. Look out for him. AM says France by unanimous decision or third round TKO. Double Champ says I see submission Royval. Marker says Royval submission round 1 here. Wow. Maybe I should have picked Royval. Oof. I picked France because here's the thing. I wanted to pick Royval submission. I don't know. I feel like France is just, he's very agile. And he's very strategic. And I feel like even on the feet, you know, he's got a lot of skill. So if he doesn't want to play on the ground with Royval, and his takedown defense is pretty good, he could play on the feet and just kind of pick apart a decision, you know? So I don't know, man. I don't think Royval's going to get the submission, but it's a good pick if you guys picked Royval. All right, guys, let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. Yes, I don't know why I did that.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Luke.
Wonderful, wonderful.
All right. Jan Blachowicz versus Dominic Reyes. Boom, boom, boom.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Okay. Now, we all know these are two phenomenal fighters getting inside the cage together, fighting for the vacant light heavyweight belt. I love it. I can't wait to see it. But let's be real here. I know some people, and by the way, let's pull this up too. Let me pull up on Tapology the odds. We just went over them yesterday. But for those of you guys who didn't see, let me just pull it up over here and discuss this. All right, this is not the right event. Come on, Tapology. Pfft, get your shit together.
Gaylord.
Here we go. UFC 253. Moss is already dropping the Polish powers in the chat. All right, co-main event, Dominic Reyes versus Jan Blachowicz for the 205-pound strap. All right, here we go. Moderate underdog at plus 205. I'm not sure if this changed much or if it changed at all since the last time we looked at it, but plus 205 is where the betting odds lie on Tapology. Minus 260 for Dominic Reyes as the favorite. So I'm going to start off by saying, before giving my pick for this fight, that if you put money down on this fight for Jan Blachowicz, you, my friend, and say he wins, you are going to make a lot of freaking money. I'm just going to say that right now. Now, I'm not putting money on this fight. I'm gonna say that right now. And these are just fan picks. I could be completely wrong on this whole card. So don't listen to me. But this, whew, if you're looking to make a quick buck and you have faith in Jan Blachowicz in this fight, I'll tell you what, might not be a bad idea to throw some dinero on that fight there. All right, so given that Jan is a pretty significant underdog in this fight, which, by the way, I think he's completely underrated. I think that this is a more even, should be a little bit more of an even matchup for betting odds. But this is my opinion. Reyes is a genuinely fantastic fighter. Jan is a genuinely fantastic fighter. There's no arguing that. Reyes' athleticism, no joke. He's quick. He's agile. He's relatively large, light heavy. He's also very well-rounded. His takedown defense is pretty decent, to say the least. I would say that Jan's striking is great, and his wrestling game hasn't gone unnoticed over the past few years. He has completely changed his game in the wrestling department. He's also got a pretty nice jab in his game that he likes to kind of throw in there. So I think he's going to put that to good use in this fight. I just don't think that Jan can match the quickness of Reyes. I think that's probably the one thing that perhaps Reyes might have this upper hand with. When up against a speedier counter striker, Jan can't really, like, he can get picked apart pretty fast. We saw it when he fought Thiago Santos. So I'm going to say, given that Jan was knocked out in the past and he doesn't do well against quick counter strikers, I'm going to say Dominic Reyes takes the win by TKO in the second. I don't think he's going to knock him out cold, but I think Jan is going to kind of turtle up, and Reyes is just going to punish him until the referee stops it. I think that's what's going to happen. Let me know who you guys have in the chat. Jan is indeed a slow bloke, says Roberto Lopez. Says, good point, JBH. The Polish guy's got this. Says Shepdog. White girl loses to the Polak. Reyes defends his belt, says Drunk. AM says Reyes third round TKO. Roberto says take the under. People, even JBH agrees. Alex Lovell says turtle briefing.
Wonderful.
Ab Tap says Reyes. Anonymous, it's Dominic Reyes first title defense. Wesley Martin says the Polish Power is a myth. Reyes by KO third. Polish Power is a fluke. Dom by TKO. Moss is wonderful. Dom by knockout in the second round. Reyes for the win, says Benjamin. JB says Reyes. He went toe-to-toe with John Jones, so I'm sure he can handle Jan. JBH4L. Jesse, I love my Lux Bidet. Wonderful. JM says, no, I see one of them is lying down out cold. Reyes wins by TKO in the third. Reyes KO second. I got to roll. Don't miss me too much. All right, we won't. Goodbye.
Lord.
All right, guys. Now, the main event of the evening. Yeah! I'm so excited for this fight. Yes! Yeah! Oh, I can't point. That guy over there is my boy.
Wonderful.
That guy, all the way on your guys' left. My boy. That's my fucking boy right there. Ooh, I can't wait to watch this fight, guys. Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa is the main event of UFC 253. And I have been waiting so fucking long for this fight. You guys already know who I'm going to pick. So I'm not going to brief too much because it's a biased pick. I will be completely clear here. This is a biased pick. But even if I wasn't biased, I would still pick Israel Adesanya. And I'll tell you why. I've already said all I need to say about this fight over the last weeks or so worth of shows. I'm not going to continuously repeat myself. But basically, this fight should come down to two things. One, can Costa put enough pressure on Izzy to successfully hit him in a way that Izzy wasn't prepared for? And my answer to that would be no. Or two, will Costa be prepared for the powerful counter-striking and technical style of Izzy when he decides to push forward? And my answer to that will also be no. Because Israel Adesanya is the fucking GOAT. Yes, honestly, my answer would be that Costa has no idea what he's in for. He works well with fighters that like to put pressure, fighters that like to move forward. And we've seen him against fighters with granite chins. We've seen him with fighters who have knockout power. We've seen him with fighters who like to play against his technical strategy. And he's won against every single one of them. Gah! Israel Adesanya. Paulo Costa, I wish the best of luck. But Israel Adesanya is taking the win here. I should go decision on this. Because logically speaking, Paulo Costa can probably strike out with Adesanya until he can probably strike the distance. But I got to put faith in my boy. So I am going to say KO-TK on the fourth. Probably not going to happen. Probably is going to be a decision. But I'm going to say KO-TKO because it's just what I'd like to see. So I went with Izzy KO-TKO on the fourth. I'm even going to put that in on my Tapology picks. Although, if I were you, I would probably put in decision. If you're looking to win Tapology. I'm not looking to win Tapology this week, guys. I want to be perfectly clear here. There's fighters on this card that I'm so excited yet biased to see. So, I'm sorry, guys. It is the way it is this time. But if I were you, I'd throw a decision in there. All right, guys. Let me know who you guys have in the chat, and then we're going to wrap this up. Let's see. E. Yale says, you don't know shit, little girl. E. Yale, sounds to me like you have a very fragile masculinity to have a girl talking about a sport that you know nothing about. Alex Level says, no KO for Izzy. Dr. Smith says, down goes Izzy. MMA Music JBH, I miss you. Can't wait for this fight. Henry Soul says, I throw $2 real cash on Izzy. D-Rest says, Israel ran from Romero in the cage. Claw will win. Irregardless says, Ricky Martin getting smacked. I got Karen Lee. Claw will win, says Moss. Benjamin Elm says, Izzy. Mr. Scipio says, LOL. Proud Babylonian says, Izzy. MMA Music 20 Ferguson, follow me on Instagram. Haha, love you, just got him. Adesanya decision says Aiden. But I'm putting that bonus control bet against Izzy. Izzy getting knocked out, says Jones. Let's see. KC laughing in the chat. Izzy all day. Jesse. Justin says, I thought we did calls for pay-per-views. Yeah, most pay-per-views I like to do calls. Today I'm going to try and wrap it up. I haven't been feeling well for the last couple days, guys, so I'm just going to wrap this shit up. I'm gonna go fucking lay down. That's what my plans are for the evening. What are your plans for the evening? All right, guys, here's what I want you to do. When this stream is over, in the comment section down below, let me know who you guys have for the main card picks. Even let me know who you have for the preliminaries. On top of that, make sure you check out the link to ESPN Plus in the description.
Wonderful.
If you want to watch the fights on Saturday night with us, then check out ESPN Plus. Link in the description. You can watch the fights live. You can also watch the prelims and the early prelims, the whole freaking card over there. You can also watch your favorite sports teams, replays, whatever you want. ESPN Plus, link in the description. Sign up now. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. Make sure you hit that like button over there, please. Thank you. And as always, don't be an a-hole. We're going to be live tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Don't forget, Tukhugov Friday. Don't be an a-hole. Be an MMA-hole.